man, welcome to the Korg SV-2, and this video is a little test and a little explanation on how to use the Korg SV-2. Let's check the sound works, everything is recording. And hi, I'm Marius. I'm not a professional piano player, I think you noticed. And this might be exactly why this video could be interesting to you, because the question is the Korg SV-2 an instrument for someone non-professional, still enthusiast like me, and what exactly does it do? So, a little overview: the white Korg SV-2 has these speakers, I just saw them white with speakers and black without speakers. The speakers are not the very best, they are good, but I've seen Casio keyboards and especially other Korg keyboards which seem to have speakers that are a little less bassy and better, but they are totally usable. But most importantly, I chose the Korg for its piano sounds. And it has these standard piano sounds and these grand sounds from German grands, Italian grands, and Japanese grands, and they do really sound good. Especially what I love is the Italian grand for its woody sound. Where does the woody sound come from? The SV-2 is a little special. It has this audio solution by K-Array, and you see here it has this analog system built in, which is really a tube that is, as it seems to me, and I think it's really correct, also it plays a part in generation of the sound. And yeah, actually the pianos do sound great. Let's go to the piano section here. When it's here, for example, this is the German grand, and they wouldn't say it's an E-Bach or whatever, they just say German grand. And the second category, if you go to variation and choose 2, you have the Italian grand, and the 3 here is the Japanese grand, and then you have the Austrian grand. They all sound just amazing. I like the Italian the most. So let's get into it. And then number 6 is German upright and rock piano, or rock piano in American. But the pianos themselves are here, and the first sound is already really cool. To me, many sounds on this thing totally sound like cinemas. So it's a totally giggable keyboard. You, of course, can connect it to Piano Tech or to Keyscape, and then you have these perfect sounds from a computer. But of course, there's always this little latency problem, which I hate. So if you think you would like to do without Piano Tech, with all these MIDI interfaces and VSTs, then this here it pretty damn sounds good, but it's also pretty damn heavy. And the key bed, I wanted to talk about this because I think actually this keyboard has one of the best key beds I ever played on. Is it better than Yamaha? No, it isn't. but it's actually really, really good. One thing I noticed is if you press it down and you pull, it will it will kind of jump out of its bearing, but it will jump back. So it's a little bit like you pull your finger maybe, but that's not what you normally do. The second thing I noticed about the keyboard, it has some kind of click, almost like a mouse click, but you don't notice that when you have your headphones or whatever, when you play music and you hear the music, it's unnoticeable. Is it too hard or is it too soft? I think it's just right about good. I think Yamaha is a little harder. It's harder to press them down. So this is kind of easy to play. But these are not as light and as too easy as the Casio, for example. I have this Casio PX 1000, I think, and there the keys are just too soft. I don't like these keys. So this is really good. This is really a durable, good keyboard. Let's get right into one other thing that I use mostly on this keyboard, which is the favorites here. You choose like piano 1 and you seem to like the variation here. The second variation, what is that? Okay, let's put the headphones. Sounds horrible. Don't like the uprights. Let's take the grand. Better. But then you decide to change a few things, like you want to start the modulation or you change the equalizer. All these settings are saved when you press and hold here. For example, first on number 8 I had this sound. Okay, sorry for that, maybe. And now I want to have the piano second variation. So let's save it to number 8, which I think you will remember. First we had the violins there. The second thing I want to show you is how the transpose works. For me, guys, this was strange. It works like this. You hold it for 3 seconds and it will start to get blinking, flickering, whatever. It starts to blink, and then you press the key in which you want to play. For example, here into F. And yeah, switching it off. And now F. You can also switch the sound generation off. I wasn't sure what local off means. So it just means that this keyboard will output your MIDI to your computer. And if you go on local off, it will itself not generate any sound. So now I don't hear anything, but I can play. So I'm sure my computer would be the only system which is playing back the MIDI data for me. And yeah, really simple. With touch, I think you can change how hard you play this thing. It didn't even use it. If you press both of these buttons here on the right, then the keyboard is locked. But let me get to something else, namely the equalizer. Switching the tone here, and let's put the bass a little out there. It will sound more intimate if you get the mids up, treble a little more. Or more bass, and then the midtones. This is a little bit more the techie sound. Switching it off. Can be too much. So this equalizer is especially interesting if you have the E-pianos here. Wow. So let's show off the equalizer maybe with this totally overloaded synthi here. Let's start here. Transpose a little. So you see the difference. You can really get this thing low key and this is almost overpowering. I think the equalizer is great, and actually, as you can save it with your favorites, you can kind of create different emotions, different sounds. Just cool. I am not using much more on this keyboard because many things like these fancy amplifiers that you have here, the pre-effects, which can tear a little bit your sound. You can, of course, use it, but to be honest, many things are programmed into the preset sounds that you have, and I think Korg did a good job programming these into or presetting these pre-FX and amplifier and equalizer and modulation into the keyboard. Yeah, if you think the SV-2 might be the choice for you, it sounds a little less bright than all the Yamahas and all the Kawais out there and all the Casios especially out there. This thing here, I got it for 1,780, but euro. So I think that's really fair